introduce him to OC RCS proper. So we're going to be the two going into the matchup. Kicking this off, Renegades are in blue, Forkidden are in orange, and we are underway.
Game number 1 of this best of 7, and I do want to make sure to emphasize that this best of 7 means that we've got some development that can come throughout the series, but hey, Forkidden already starting off on the right foot, not even 15 seconds in, and we've already got a goal.
Super lucky, straight down the middle. A nice touch at the tail end right there to actually fake out Kami, who was supposed to be that grounded rock on the side of the Renegades. Very similar to how we saw Forkidden open up against Wildcard just yesterday as well, and they did wind up taking that opening game. Something about this squad, they just tend to come in hot and can perhaps catch some of these teams off guard. Granted, best of 7, a bit longer than a best of 5, as you were saying before. Plenty of time for the Renegades to bounce back, just not even mentioning we're only 30 seconds into game number 1. If there's any team that's going to bounce back from a sort of surprise kickoff goal, Renegades are right up there. In fact, look at that shot from CJ. It was on point.
Already trying to slot one in and get that equalizer here. Like you said, Renegades, they are no slouches. They are not going to back down easily. With over 4 minutes of gameplay left, I would not be surprised to see them find that equalizer. But first, they got to find a way out of their own half. A lot of offense here for Forkidden, as they normally do. They have not found a second goal because of it. Foul off the backboard here. Fever going to read this one out, push it to the side. Kami not quite able to touch that one, but will get CJ who can support him with a pass. Flip reset off the backboard, easily saved by Super Lucky and sent the other way. And although we had a pretty explosive first minute, it's starting to calm down here. Both teams kind of going end to end, and each of them getting their opportunities.
What I'm finding interesting about the Forkidden side, though, right now is, well, they're playing their style, and they're actually forcing the Renegades to adjust to them. Banana Head almost getting it over the top of CJ. What they are doing is every single touch is directed towards the goal. They haven't even started to look for pass plays yet. They haven't started to really synergize with the team. It's just pretty much every touch is, how can we get that ball to the goal as fast as possible? And the Renegades, I feel, are a little bit caught off guard by that. They've been forced on that defensive side and having to play very reactive. Now that we start to see the Renegades on the attacking half, maybe we'll catch a little bit more about what makes this attack so dynamic. CJ slowing it down in the corner, tries to follow it up, but a nice defensive clear on point. Fever, fortunately, back to make the save for the Renegade side.
They've been doing this a lot, like you said, Forkidden, with these really heavy touches that just kind of go to open space so that they can try and develop something. It's worked out so far with a lot of good chances, but it's one of these things where I wonder if Renegades are going to start to catch on as the series continues here. It's a good strategy. It's something you see a lot in the bubble scene, but it doesn't always work out against the big dogs. This time it is. Forkidden up 2-0 just before halftime.
Late flip from Scrub just to make sure Banana Head can find that angle, and this attack style from Forkidden gives them a second goal. It's why this team is so dynamic. It's why this team is so exciting. And the Renegades definitely being caught off a little out of sorts, it feels like. I mean, the Renegades explained it best. They have that play style that they want to attack with. Get CJ in the front, rumbling, tumbling around, opening spaces for Fever to find those goals, and if worse comes to worse, and I mean, even if not the case, Kami is always going to be that strong third member who will just hold this team down. But so far in this game, it's actually been Fever on the back end a bit more. It's been Fever who's been having to step up on that defensive side, and Forkidden, to their credit, has not been able to give this young gun that much space. They've just been too relentless on their own attacking half right now, and Bass, this is such a promising sign for the Forkidden lineup. They've got another chance here. Woo! A bit unfortunate, Scrub shot doesn't go through. However, Forkidden, they definitely are feeling themselves.
Oh, absolutely. The way that this offense is flowing just looks fantastic. The shot may be off the bar, but it's still enough to keep the offense alive. Off the backboard, straight into the hands of Kami, who will clear it out. But again, it's this offensive pressure that is so impressive. A lot of teams get to this stage and they get a little bit trigger shy. They don't really want to try and throw everything at offense because they are a little bit scared of getting exposed. Forkidden don't seem to have that whatsoever. They're aware that if they hesitate for a moment, a team like Renegades are going to take advantage of that. So they've come into this one going Mach 7 speeds, not dropping a beat. Oh my word, and it's led to some explosive shots. Only 2 of them have hit the back of the net, but if they keep firing like that, they're definitely going to find more.
Yeah, only a minute 12 remaining, and Forkidden could be Well, the opening, once again, with a very dynamic start. I do have to bring everyone a little bit back to reality. Going to be a bit of that Debbie Downer here. Forkidden, they look pretty similar to this in that opening game against Wildcard as well, and we kind of know what happened next. So we don't want to be like proclaiming this is that moment, but this is definitely the start they were looking for. And as you mentioned, they're just always attacking the ball, both on offense and on defense, as we saw the interception from Super Locky right there. They're not giving Renegades any of that space to set up their own style. They're always going to challenge everything, it looks like, and well, it's when they make little misses like that where perhaps Renegades are going to be able to find some space. However, Forkidden, they haven't been making many of those mistakes.
No, not really, and that's due to their rotations. The trio right now are doing a good job of making sure to just kind of fill in that empty space, and this is something that you guys in the audience are going to hear me talk about a lot, this nuisance playstyle that is developed in Rocket League. Get in the face of your opponent, get them annoyed, and don't give them the room to breathe. It's something Forkidden are doing a great job of that right now, because that's what Renegades are looking for. They're looking to develop some of these passing plays, looking to develop some of these more intricate plays, and when you get in their face and don't give them the room, they can't do that. So Forkidden, a fantastic win here in game number 1. This ball gonna hit the ground and they keep the shutout, and I gotta say, if they play like that, there's a chance for Forkidden.
Yeah, it looks very good at the moment, but again, we talk about that in-your-face style, this new meta that happens to be developing. That was exactly what Wildcard figured out in Game 2 against Forkidden, and as soon as they were able to establish that mid-pitch control and actually take the fight right back to what was the orange side, well, we didn't see Forkidden score a goal until the final game of that series, and even then it wasn't enough. Quick look at the stats, though, before we go more into it, and you can see that shot differential, absolutely massive. 10 shots to 7, and I know that's only 3 more, but it was only CJ getting the attacking pressure through. Fever and Kami each kept on that back line for so long. It was really difficult for the Renegades to get any forward momentum.
And I'm glad that you highlight that CJ was the sole striker there in that one, because I think, again, that's a lot of the reason why Forkidden are such a formidable opponent right now. All 3 players are getting involved in both their offense and defense, both. All of them are credited with at least a shot and a save apiece, and that's because of the fact that they really are doing such a good job at, like I said, covering that space on the back end as well as the front end. They're matching Renegades great right now. I really do have hope that this team can give us a heck of a series here, but now's the real test. Renegades have gotten a game to get warmed up, to get back into this one. Now that they're feeling themselves a little bit more, are Forkidden going to be able to stand up to the test?
Well, that's going to be the big challenge for sure. I mean, one of the issues that kind of plagued Forkidden, and actually a few of these younger teams, has been the consistency word. And they've never really been able to sort of mirror one performance throughout an entire day, sometimes not even throughout an entire series, as we kick off game number 2. Forkidden, they've come in hot. They looked very good to open this one up. But let's not forget this is the Renegades, and well, they'll start to do things like that. The demo coming through, but it was actually against Kami, not from Kami. Another demo as well opens up the goal line, and it ekes in. Banana Head gets credit for the point for Forkidden. Second kickoff goal in a row.
All right, so this is how Forkidden get it done. They just basically go out the gates firing and score within the first 15 every time. What, was it the exact same time last time? It's like a 2-second difference, if that. Fantastic play from Forkidden here, not missing a beat in between games. And I gotta say, it really is impressive to see a team like this get to a stage like this, and they just continue to play as consistently as before. Like you said, consistency has been a problem for a lot of these teams that break out from the bubble scene. Oh boy, but well, Caster Curse had to show itself. It's unfortunate it's in my first series in RLCS, but hey, there it is.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a bit of an awkward goal, actually, for Forkidden. It's one of the downsides to playing their style. If you're going to be aggressive, if you're going to be in the face of your opponents, all it takes is one beat, and all of a sudden that goal is going to open up. Kind of crazy to think that the first goal we see from the Renegades happens in our second game, and kind of in that awkward fashion as, now we're seeing defenders bump into each other on the Forkidden side as well. Fortunately, Scrub will be able to clear it straight across the middle over the top of Kami, but not quite past CJ, who will take it back to the middle of the pitch. Maybe that little goal right there, though, is the return to reality that perhaps the Renegades need, because it was a bit of a slow start. And for a team, which justly applied to or not, when you're looking at, trying to crack into the top 2 of the region, I feel as if a lot of teams kind of peg as the Renegades as being the team that maybe they can get over the top of. That opening game maybe further emphasized that point. I feel like they have something to prove right now against this Forkidden lineup. They really need to reestablish that, like, hold on, we deserve this sort of top 2 moniker we've established for ourselves.
I mean, they really do. At this point, Renegades have proven themselves in the offseason. They have grinded out a bunch of different tournaments and have proven that they deserve to be at the top of this region. But the unfortunate truth about all of this is that you can be as good as you want during the offseason. It only matters, though, if you show up in RLCS. And that's something we've seen amongst all of the regions at this point, is one of these things where you can have the expectations, but you've got to live up to them. Renegades doing a good job here in game number 2, though. They have made the necessary adjustments, but they need to find a goal, and they need to find it fast. This much offensive pressure needs to result in something.
I loved that setup from the Renegades, but I nearly liked that shot from Banana Head more. We saw it on display that time around. Kami was going for bumps and running disruption on the Forkidden defensive side that actually got them well and truly off base. I'm a bit surprised that the Renegades weren't able to convert that into a goal. A little bit disappointing for the Renegade side, but obviously still plenty of time to bounce back. This game still dead even. Super Lucky's going to try to find that backboard. Fever has the read. Kami really needed to get a touch to follow that one up. Super Lucky keeping the pressure down. Now Forkidden will reestablish himself in the middle of the pitch. CJ going for that interception, and we're seeing more of that midfield pressure. That was the weakness of Forkidden in the past, coming from the Renegade side. It's given them more opportunities still. As we pass that halfway mark, the game just gridlock at one apiece.
It's just going end to end, both teams getting themselves some opportunities. But again, it's that offensive pressure that doesn't lead to shots that's got me a little bit worried. It's a problem for both sides, to be honest, right now. They get extended pressure, they get that boost starvation going, they get that really uncomfortable defense that they force out of their opponents. But then when it comes time for an actual shot, you see a little bit of hesitation and no one ever takes it. So it's really going to be about who is willing to take that risk first, because I think that's what's going to separate the two teams here. Can you take a calculated risk? Can you find that opening? And when that opening comes, can you make the most of it?
Well, in game number 1 from the Renegade side, I would argue that it was CJ being that aggressor. So far in game number 2, though, it's looking a lot more actually being Kami who's been doing work, although that's interesting setup right now. Scrub's going to be able to follow it up through the corner, looks for the second touch, sets something up for Super Lucky, who was a bit too far back. Kami cheats forward. No one hits the ball, fortunately, for Forkidden. Super Lucky underneath. A minute and a half still to go in our second game. Forkidden, if they're able to find a goal here, it could be absolutely monumental for their momentum. Kami doesn't want any part of that. Gets the ball towards the backboard, but it will be cleared by Scrub. Shot from Fever to CJ goes in, and the Renegades take a 2-1 lead.
What is the power behind this shot? 129 kilometers per hour. Good God. Look at this pass and look at this boomer of a shot. Renegades putting themselves on top in a spectacular way. And with 80 seconds left, it's up to Forkidden to really show us what they're made of here. Can the team that has been all about these early goals find one late? This is also, I think, just a very important game overall, Max. They don't want to let this series get evened up. If they do so, they've left the door wide open for Renegades.
Going back to that goal as well real quick, I know a lot of people like to joke on CJ and say his signature move is that open net miss. I would argue his signature move are goals like that, where he just shortens the field so much when on the attacking half and looks for those tight cut shots. And one of the best in the world, dare I say, at pulling off some of those plays. It's why CJ has always been a constant stable, and a fantastic goal coming from the Renegades side. It's good to see that even though they might be trying to find this new play style with this new roster, they still have their same old bag of tricks, and to get themselves that late lead, great stuff coming from the Renegade side. 30 seconds remaining. Forkidden, though, is on the hunt. They're on that attacking half. They're going to need to convert quite quickly, though. Scrub keeping that pressure moving forward.
This pressure is going to be key for Forkidden. If they want a chance here, they need to lock down this midfield and just keep this attack up for the remainder of this game. Fortunately, they're not quite able to do so, and now it's sent the other way, and it's sent into the back of the net. CJ seeing that little gap, and this is what we talked about, Max. If you get an opportunity, you've got to make the most of it.
Yeah, Super Lucky, unfortunately, unable to corral that back, and that's just going to be an easy tap forward for CJ. The Renegades well and truly have game 2 under wraps with that one. 11 seconds to go, and considering those kickoff goals took 13, well, the Renegades will do it even faster. They'll get one in just 5. Kami puts another one through. 4-1 now in favor of the team in blue.
Yeah, Forkidden at this point are going to have to try and just reconcile with what it is and come back in the next game a little bit more explosive here. I like that they got that first goal, but aside from that first goal, they didn't really see much else. And, well, it looks like we've got a little bit of pause on the field here, but the reality is Renegades are still up 4-1 with about 6 seconds left. No matter what, even if you give them another minute of play, I'm not so sure if Forkidden can pull this one back. Max, it was a good second game, but the unfortunate reality of it all is that Renegades look like they're back in form, and Forkidden don't necessarily look like they're prepared for that.
and it came from that play across the middle of the field. It's the same story against Forkidden when they come up against some of these top guns. Game 1 looks fantastic, but as soon as their opponents are able to adjust and recognize, you know what, if we shorten the field on them, if we go at them in that middle of the pitch, it becomes so much harder for a team that is so reliant on these solo plays to really slow that pace down and set themselves up. Now, what I liked from game number 1 from Forkidden was the fact that they were adapting more passing plays. They looked to be a bit more dynamic when moving forward, but the issue was every touch was still focused around getting that ball to the goal, and we saw that again in game number 2. But with the Renegades keeping 2 players in the midfield and keeping what it happened to be in this case, I think it was actually more Fever, back on defense, well, the end result was a Renegades team that just looked a lot more solid and a lot more sound. And as they were talking about in that video, hyping themselves up, the adaptability is sort of a key point that we don't get to touch on enough out of the Renegades, but we're seeing it on display here.
Yeah, 100%. They're recognizing that their opponents are going to just keep booming the ball into open space. They're going to keep trying to super fast play style. So if they can find those moments where they can break down the pace of play, get it a little bit slower, turn it into more of a possession-based game, all of a sudden everything gets flipped on its head. And you can see that as the evidence from the last goal that we saw there. Well, not the one on the open net from the kickoff, but the one previous to that, where CJ saw the little bit of miss on the back end, took his time, recognized that eventually the player was going to try to get set up on the line, and just that little half second where you wait for the shot is enough to throw off the momentum, enough to throw off the pace of play, and all of a sudden it's a much easier goal. So this is the issue right now. Renegades are too adaptable of a team. They are way too inexperienced for a team like Forkidden to just go into this one with a single play style and hope that it works out. If Forkidden want this win, they've got to adapt like Renegades, because Renegades are showing them exactly how to do that.
Yeah, well, I was still seeing smiles on the Forkidden faces, so perhaps they still are feeling confident in this series as we come back to just officially wrap this game up in 6 seconds. Nothing's going to happen here. Renegades go on through, taking game number 2. Best of 7, so there's still a lot of series left to be played. I've always said just taking even one game off the Renegades or off Ground Zero is a challenge. It's why when we get into these longer series, it becomes that much more difficult to take these guys out. For Forkidden, their back is now once again against the wall. The Renegades looking in a tip-top form. As we look at the stats as well, you can see that shot differential. It was no longer just CJ Bass. Everyone got involved. Even Kami got one through.
I got one through there, but honestly, the fact of the matter is that Kami made up for the lack of shooting there with 2 saves and an assist as well. Renegades, again, this is something they were missing in game number 1, is Forkidden were a tri-tip dagger. This game, Renegades did exactly that. Every single player playing phenomenally the whole way through. Aside from this one goal that we see early in the game, Forkidden really didn't have much of an answer for Renegades.
Yeah, it was a lot more difficult for them as soon as that space got tightened up. They really weren't able to showcase their strengths. I always love when a series starts like this too, where one team shows their play style in the first game, and then the second game we get the response and we kind of play more to the other team's strengths. It really puts that emphasis on where we go from here. I just worry that Forkidden might be a bit of that one-note team, and yes, that one note is very, very strong. However, the fact that we've seen multiple instruments be played from the Renegades really being that tri-tip threat in their own right, the only thing that seems out of pace for the Renegades right now is the fact that their goal explosions don't line up. Kami's the only one who has it right. You want to see those Cowboys shooting those finger guns. They're Renegades. They're Cowboys. I don't know. Until we see that, I'm always going to be questioning a little bit of the Renegade synergy, but as it stands, I do expect we are seeing the Renegades much more on form.
I do appreciate that they're all at least using their decals here. All the brand new decals in Rocket League
cool
looking
are
so
they?
Incredibly clean, right? And we're going to get away ones as well, man. I just so incredibly happy to see this. So incredibly happy to see OCE decals in Rocket League as well. Let's see if the decals can propel them to a victory overall, though, because here we are in game number 3 of this best of 7. Forkidden took the first, but couldn't hold on to the second, and Renegades absolutely back in form.
I can only project on what those Renegade decals are going to look like, but if it's like white with that maroon red kind of outline, almost similar to the Alfa Romeo Formula 1 cars, actually, I reckon that would be money. The black trim as well. Oh, it would be so cool to see. Again, big thank you to Psyonix, though. It's so great to see that support going, not just to Oceania, but to Sam as well, getting some teams their own skins. I mean, I straight up bought, the Dominance ones, because it is Oceania. I have to represent the moment they came out. It's great stuff to see. And speaking of some great stuff to see right now, the Renegades, they've been doing a great job of playing keep away right now. Forkidden has to force a double commit to get any space whatsoever, and the Renegades immediately shut it back down.
I think like that for Forkidden, though, they're holding on here. If they don't score a goal early, apparently they at least know how to play some defense early, and that's a massive thing against a team like Renegades, who are starting to really feel themselves on offense. A lot of teams will get back into their own half, start to break down. Not really seeing that from Forkidden right now. They're holding strong on defense, waiting for their opportunities to break out of their own half, and when they do, they can at least turn it into an offense. So far, not really able to find a solid shot, but maybe they can change that one up right here. Scrub gonna get a good flick into the corner, where Super Locky was looking for the follow-up, but no such luck. Instead, it's Banana Head out at midfield with 100 boost in the tank, who is not going to challenge this one. Instead, it's just going to leave it out to the side for Super Lucky. And Forkidden, you can't start getting this complacent, my friends. If you want to score here, you've got to get in the face of Renegades.
Well, that's an open net going back the other way. Desperate save attempt's not going to come through. And I would argue that wasn't complacency. It was actually a boost steal attempt out of Super Lucky, but unfortunately, there was no one really back behind in the middle of the pitch, and that's probably the easiest goal we're going to see the Renegades score today. Straight down the center, 1-0 lead for the team in blue. I do like how Forkidden was able to slow the pace for a lot of that attack, and I think the slower the pace is, the more likely Forkidden will have advantages. But CJ wins a great 50 in front of the net, and now all of a sudden Forkidden, they're in a 2-goal hole.
It's slowing down the pace. Try to slow down CJ at this point. This player has come alive on offense, shooting perfectly. The accuracy is beautiful. The power behind the shots is beautiful as well. And Renegades, again, they look like they're back in form. Forkidden found them in game number 1, a little bit surprised and a little bit, let's say, jaw drops considering the 2 goals that Forkidden scored. But aside from those 2 goals, they haven't necessarily looked all that impressive against Renegades. The big thing is that Renegades just seem to have a read on them. They figured out a strategy that would work against them and are executing upon that perfectly.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because even on defense, you still see signs of why Forkidden can be so exciting. Looking back at that last goal, Scrub was very close to pulling off the squishy save on that one. And of course, it has to be the squishy, right? It can't be a normal save. It can't be a normal goal coming from Forkidden. They always have to do something to make it a little bit spicy. Whereas when you look at the Renegades, it's the fundamentals that are keeping them ahead. Clean rotations, clean touches, clean passes. It's a well-oiled machine, although sometimes machines can break. Scrub almost able to sneak that one just under the top. Unfortunately, a bit too high. Forkidden's going to try to keep the momentum going, but the Renegades have regained their composure. Pass back across the middle to CJ, and the Renegades are again on the attack.
And that's something Forkidden do not want to see, is Renegades start going back to those passing plays. They are so deadly when they're able to link up effectively, and they've done it a couple of times throughout the series, but they haven't done it nearly the consistency I expect out of a team like Renegades. Maybe they can do it right here, getting back in offense once again. 13 boosts in the tank, though, and Kami cannot get a solid shot. Fever, though, can get one off the backboard. It is not on target, but it will lead out to CJ in midfield, who, wait a minute, is this on target? It was on target. It is saved by Banana Head, but oh my word, CJ is definitely feeling himself. He might not get the first one, but he will get the follow-up.
Yeah, good finalizing blow right there from CJ in that top left corner. What was that I said before about being one of the best at shortening the fields and getting those tight cuts when on the attack? He does it again to Forkidden, and that is twice we've seen him be able to pull off that play, which, when you think about it stylistically, makes a lot of sense against a team like Forkidden, because they want to slow that pace down, because they want to kind of be a little bit isolated with a bit deeper spacing around each other. It kind of opens the avenues to make those sort of plays and not get punished by the second Forkidden member. Really heads-up play from CJ once again. 3-0 lead for the Renegades. It's looking like they have Game 3 under wraps right now, and Forkidden being shut out. I believe this would be the second game in a row. They did get one at the tail end of game number 2, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, Renegades just absolutely looking in form. Scrub's still gonna get a double, though, in traffic. All right, Forkidden, it's good to know that you are still alive in this.
I'm sorry. What? Scrub, what on earth is the catch and the resiliency to stay through traffic? 2 players from Renegades around you, and you still slam that one home. Hey, listen, you might lose the game. You took the highlight, though. What a goal from Scrub.
Yeah, that was a great little goal right there. The double touch coming on through. 2-goal game. You never know. Maybe Forkidden can find something in this, but for the most part, Fever will be able to take it back across that middle of the field. Ball in the corner right now will be jammed up for the time being. CJ throws it down to Banana Head. That's actually a member on the other team. A little bit of a whoops moment, but it's not one that's going to be too punished, at least not right away. The pinch clear creates that space, and with 15 seconds remaining, the Renegades' possession of the ball, they're going to be advancing 2-1 in the series.
And that's a big game for them to win, not only because of the fact that they are now going to be up in the series, but it's also going to be the fact that they've now gotten momentum in their favor. Yeah, you're definitely going to have momentum if you can hit that. Kami, no, not allowed. What is that angle?
I think that was like an 88-degree angle. It did hit the post, though, Bass. It did hit the post. So do we really give it top marks? Normally you have to get it clean. Yeah, exactly. Normally you have to get it clean in the center of the net. I'm sorry, Kami. We're going to have to ask you to do that again. If you could set yourselves up to put another one of those through, that would just be fantastic. As it stands, ball hits the ground. Renegades get themselves a win, a 4-1 victory. Renegades up 2-1 in the series. Pressure definitely on Forkidden right now. Momentum, I mean, they're looking good when they get that space. We saw that double touch Scrub was able to put through, but when we're looking at the overall possession and the overall control, it really feels quite dominated by the Renegade side.
I mean, Renegades look like Renegades. If you've seen them play previously, this isn't necessarily that unexpected of a result. The thing is that it was a bit unexpected after the first game we saw. Forkidden seemed to have a pretty good strategy against them, but since that first game, they haven't really been able to slow them down. And that's the big thing about this, is that it's a lot about slowing down Renegades at this point. If they're getting goals like you're seeing here, you gotta start trying to just kind of cut them off. That's the second game in a row they have had 4 goals, and that's a telling sign. If you're allowing a team to not only get this many shots at, I think, over 10 per game, but you're also allowing 4 goals there, it's showing your defense needs to get locked tight and just prevent these shots outright.
I think sometimes teams might be forgetting, you know, memes are kind of just that, memes. You can't leave this many open nets against your opponents, particularly the Renegades. I mean, CJ, you can see right here, is on absolute fire right now. These tight cutoff plays, fantastic scrub, although with that double, that was clean, and I don't want to take anything away from Forkidden once they get the momentum in their favor, but when the game is feeling kind of like what that Twitch chat poll was before, you know, 80-20 in favor of the Renegades throughout it, that's a team that's going to make, you know, even a 50-50 kind of go their favor when it comes to possession. Looking to kick off game number 4 right now. A bit of a do-or-die situation. Obviously, it's not match point yet, but to go down and have to win 3 games in a row against the Renegades may as well be that death sentence, Spats. Forkidden, they need to win this game.
Yeah, Forkidden, unfortunately, this is going to be a difficult one for them. Like you said, they lose this one. They have to gentleman's reverse sweep against Renegades, and, well, they are no gentlemen's, they are kids. So let's try and avoid that situation outright here and get to a best of 3 between the two. But it's up to Forkidden to start off on the right foot here, and, well, they're not quite doing that. They're allowing Renegades to get some more offensive pressure here. CJ, though, not the cleanest touch out in the center, and Super Locky will take advantage of it. Kami, though, with a great touch out and will make the save, and back and forth we go here. We've seen this a lot with these two teams. They love booming the ball back and forth across the pitch and just waiting for that opportunity.
Yeah, it's trying to create that space for both themselves and to have a better read of their opponents. I would normally expect Forkidden to be the first team to challenge it, but instead it's actually the Renegades being the first side to start to press forward. Oh, a midfield bump by Super Lucky onto Kami, though, opens the doorway for Scrub, gets it nearly past CJ, who was able to make a nice save in the shadow defense. That could have been dangerous.
Could have been dangerous, but luckily enough, we don't see any sort of result from it here because we're about a minute into this one and it continues to stay intense. I'd like to see an overtime in this series. Considering how tense it's been for the first couple of minutes in each of these games, there should be an overtime at some point. But the unfortunate truth is that I still think if we go to overtime, it probably favors Renegades because they played a little bit cleaner. But maybe it sparks something for Forkidden that we haven't been able to see. If they can last 5 minutes against Renegades without conceding a goal, maybe it gives them that spark of life necessary and they can get themselves back into the series.
That shot was way closer than I was kind of hoping to see. Renegades, they were put on that back foot right there.
I mean, put on their back foot for right now, but not necessarily completely out of this one here. They might be a little bit nervous on defense, but I've seen them play strong on defense before. Oh boy, that was a poor time for me to say that, but now the defense on Forkidden is what's going to be looked at. Max, we really are going end-to-end with this one, and it's coming very close on each end.
And I'm surprised because Renegades did such a good job when they were able to shorten the field and be that more aggressive team. I think this is actually more credit for Forkidden because they are trying to cross the Renegades midfield up, and that's been able to give them more space, but unfortunately, they haven't been able to follow up their own setups, and with the Renegades always getting these deep booms right back to the Forkidden goal, they're never really feeling confident enough to kind of commit 1 or 2 members up the pitch. It's led to a more gridlock game. Renegades again trying to find that goal. CJ actually playing very far forward as well, gets the second second touch against Super Lucky. Now they're slowing the pace down in their favor. The Renegades trying to make something happen, but got a little bit too jammed in their own corner. Pace really slowing down. Kind of jammed out right here. CJ will create some of that space. Banana Head should be able to clear it out. Not a lot of power behind that touch trying to find Super Lucky. CJ got there first. Now Super Lucky gets the ball, gets some space, gets a touch over the top of Fever, who got the demo. But Forkidden does try to press forward. This could be interesting. No boost on Banana Head. Meets no power and an easy save by Fever.
Ooh, but now Renegades going the other way. They've got a waterfall, and Fever will take the most advantage of it. A little bit unfortunate for Forkidden. Hold on for 3 minutes of gameplay. All it took, though, was one hesitation. Couldn't quite read it off the drop down, and Super Lucky gets dunked.
That was a majestic waterfall. We're talking, that was Niagara Falls-esque in its setup right there. That was beautiful, Kami. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, from New Zealand, there's probably much more beautiful waterfalls in New Zealand than anything that that the NA region has to offer. As it stands, ball in front of the goal, Banana Head with a chance, can't quite get it past Kami. Pass back, though, turns to a shot from CJ, and we have ourselves a 2-0 lead.
Oh my word, CJ, like you said, really good at just punishing these open nets. This is something Renegades have been doing this entire series. If Forkidden throw too much into the offense, they immediately send it the other way.
I'm cutting you off. Hold on. Did you just say CJ known for really good at, finding these open nets?
No. The team known for punishing on open nets. Those are your own words there, all right? CJ, I can't compliment when it comes to open nets because that's illegal. So we'll see. But right now, Renegade's doing a good job, though, of punishing on the little mistakes on the back end. Let's see if CJ can do it a couple of more times because never mind. There's CJ again.
All right, hold on. There were defenders there, even if they were getting bumped around by Kami. Still, a minute 10 to go in this one. Banana Head gonna actually look for that pass down to Super Lucky. Can't quite make that contact. Loving the proactive defense and the proactive plays from the Renegades. Always cutting off Forkidden now when they go for some of these passes. Although with that that space given by Banana Head, Fever's already there to shut it down. Slowing it down once more. Banana Head tries to get it to the backboard. No one wants to challenge Kami, and for good reason. Was able to get the reset to keep the ball held up high. Super Lucky won't find that pass. 45 seconds to go. Renegades 2-goal lead is looking like they're advancing to match point. CJ almost gets a sick shot right there.
Oh my word, Renegades, beyond just feeling themselves at this point, they're getting creative with their offense, and that is a major difference between the two teams here. Forkidden have kind of just locked themselves into these booming clears, hoping to find a passing play that develops, and that's kind of it. They haven't really had anything else when it comes to the offense here, so it's up to them. They've got to get creative with this one. They've got to try and adapt a little bit here because, again, it feels like they came into this best of 7 with a single game plan. When that game plan no longer works, they don't really know what to do. They might get a goal here to try and at least reconcile with the lack of offense previous, but unfortunately not quite able to secure it, and even if they do get one on 0 seconds, they will still take the loss. It's gentleman's reverse sweep time, Max. If they cannot pull this one back 3 games straight, it's the end of the day and the end of the series and the end of the tournament for Forkidden.
That said, I liked what they were trying to pull off at the tail end of that all. It was a bump play you can see them establishing, unfortunately, for Forkidden, and fortunately for the Renegades. Kami knows all about how those bump plays work out, was just able to make that read, make the save, and help the Renegades advance to match point. Now, looking ahead, this was that sort of Achilles heel from Forkidden. Again, it's looking so similar to the opening series from yesterday. They come out hot, but again, some of these upper echelon teams, they know how to adapt, they know how to adjust, and when the Renegades get in Forkidden's face, when they get more proactive in shutting down some of these interceptions, that's when Forkidden starts to struggle. I think with how young the lineup is, and again, how they've only recently come back together, there is still plenty of time for Forkidden to sort of discover that adaptability gene. Maybe it's not on display here today. However, though, it is still nice when they do get to pull off some of those flashy goals that we've seen thus far.
Yeah, we've seen some really nice goals from them, and that's what we can take away from this is at minimum, Forkidden are a formidable opponent who can really score some spectacular goals, and while they may not necessarily walk away with a win here today, they've got many more regionals to try and bounce back, and for a team this young, you know they're going to do exactly that. They're going to continue to improve, continue to show this resiliency that they've displayed on the pitch here today, but maybe they can display the resiliency for a couple more games. Let's see if they can extend this series here, because like you said, we didn't expect them to necessarily walk away with a win here against a team as formidable and as capable as Renegades, but it is not only very possible, it is in the hands of Forkidden now. If they can get it done, it would be spectacular.
Well, that's not
boy.
the start you want to see. If they're going to be able to bring it back, Kami just able to kind of dribble this one. Got the reset through. That's right, Kami knows mechanics. It was only one, though, and not two. One was enough to beat the two defenders, but you went for the double last time, Kami. I'm not going to rest until I see you pull it off in RLCS. 1-0 lead for the Renegades.
I would love to see a double flip reset in RLCS. It would be one of the most spectacular things we could ever see in RLCS. Renegades, though, at this point, look like they might as well get the space to do so. Look how much free time they have in the air right now, Formal. It seems like Forkidden are no longer up to their pre-jumping habits. A team that was really able to get in the way of Renegades in Game 1 are starting to give them the time and space. I mean, look at this. We can count now and see how long it takes Kami to get a defender to attack them. Matter of fact, it never arrives. Banana Head doesn't even go for that one. And again, this is not the time to get complacent. If Forkidden want a chance at winning this one, they've got to start getting in the face of Renegades.
Yeah, they're playing this more defensive style, which just doesn't suit their strengths, I feel like. But it's because the Renegades have forced them into this situation. I don't remember the last time I've seen a Forkidden player get that midfield boost. Heck, they're struggling to get their own backfield boost right now. The resource management and the boost starvation coming from the Renegades is preventing Forkidden from going up the pitch and from preventing Forkidden for doing what they do best, which is, you know, go for those solo plays. They need those resources. So again, it's more adaptation, more of this cutthroat personality that the Renegades team can offer. It's not always the most exciting style of play when you boost starve your opponents, but it is effective. Fever back in time to make the save, stops the shot from Super Lucky, and the Renegades hold on to their 1-point lead.
I think a lot of what you're speaking about is the fact that they just kind of have experience at this level. They recognize that it's a long battle. It's not just about winning every single one of these fights. It's about winning the war overall. And in a best of 7, it really is going to be exactly that. A long-fought battle, which is going to be about the adaptations and about experience overall. Renegades displaying that fantastically here. Their adaptations have been great. Their offense has been solid, and their defense can absolutely support the offensive aggression they're looking for here. So, Forkidden, this is not necessarily a knock on you. It's the fact that Renegades have looked like they are back in form right now. They are absolutely feeling on top of the world, and it shows by the way that they are having this confidence on the pitch and challenging everywhere. Oh, that being said, though, their confidence isn't necessarily going to carry them. There's the equalizer from Forkidden.
Oh, I can't help but get hyped when I see shots like this right there. Through traffic, off the post and in. If that doesn't get you jumping up and down, I don't know what will. Great shot comes from the Forkidden side to get themselves back in this one, the Renegades. I mean, look, they are accustomed to these situations, and Fever is already looking to punish. Got the bump on Banana Head. Kami not quite there to follow it through. CJ now with a bit of a chance, but Banana Head will go ahead and play that bit of defense. Again, even when the Renegades are dominant for what I would say 80% in each and every one of these games, it's why Forkidden is so much fun to watch. They're so explosive. They'll come up with something out of nowhere that just makes you kind of like your jaw drop and you watch on in awe. 2:20 left. They're going to have to pull up another play like that, and I don't know if the Renegades are a type of team to allow 2 plays like that against them.
I would be rather surprised, to put it simply, not only because of the fact that the first one was so spectacular, but also because of the fact that Renegades want to finish this one out right now. They don't even want to give the opportunity to Forkidden to keep this series extended, so I have a feeling they're about to buckle down and really show the aggression that Renegades can display here. They're first off trying to lock down the team out at midfield, but oh boy, this is a really awkward play. Double commitment out of Forkidden, almost actually opened up some space. But luckily enough, the save was there on the back end from Kami, and now they're going to try and take this one the other way. Renegades with just underneath 2 minutes remaining would love to find themselves that lead again before we get into that 90-second mark. A lot easier said than done, though, with a lot of these booming clears going to empty space. Again, Forkidden have been doing this all game. The question is whether or not they find success from it here in game number 5.
Again, they feel like they have to go for these booming clears because the Renegades are always in their face, so if they slow the pace down, it's just an immediate challenge. However, since getting that goal, Forkidden was able to increase the tempo, and it matters not when Fever is able to bang one through the center like that. Assist going to Kami. Wait, why is it saying only 10 kilometers per hour? That was not 10 kilometers per hour. That was significantly more than 10 kilometers per hour.
I mean, how are we supposed to know? We're both American here. That's obviously not our home territory.
Do I need to get my passport back out?
That could be 10 kilometers, and I would never know. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my goodness. Either way, more pressure coming from the Renegade side at the moment. It's going to be quickly dissipated by another one of those deep clears. Fever's back, but so too is Super Lucky. Forward! Scrub couldn't make the read, neither could Banana Head, and CJ will take it back across the middle of the field with the dish back up to Fever. Ball comes back down. Kami takes the shot. Save made by Scrub, needing the post to assist. And CJ actually misses on what could have been a good opportunity. 3v2 right now, and Scrub gets the ball to the backboard. Kami puts up the meatball, wants to swallow it himself, but actually waits till it touches the ground. Normally, that's where you find the meatballs get kind of grody and disgusting, but for Fever, he doesn't care. He wants the double, and he seals the deal with that goal right there in style. The Renegades find their dagger.
That is filth. Fever takes it around the defense, gets it with the nose of their car, and I gotta agree with you. If that isn't the dagger, I don't know what is. Forkidden, you gave a heck of an effort against a team like Renegades, but Renegades saw you stunt on your last goal and went, nope, we're gonna show you how it's done. 30 seconds left here, and barring a miracle, Forkidden are gonna go down in 5. If they can find an immediate goal, there is a chance here for Roll, but the chances are looking pretty bleak.
Yeah, especially on their own defensive half, especially with CJ right now, just keeping that pressure on. Final 10 seconds until the Renegades advance to the semifinal. They can say they are the first team to advance into the semifinal in RLCS. Heck, they'll have more points until our second series finishes than any other team in the world. That's kind of humbling to think about. Banana Head's going to get one last goal through. Gives it to Super Lucky, actually. A last-second birthday present to end their campaign on Forkidden. They do come up short. However, the Renegades, they advance to the semifinal.
Renegades looking fantastic. Like you said, now, #1 team in the world. Definitively, no one can argue with that. They are the greatest OCE on top. Jokes aside, Renegades, seriously though, looking fantastic right now. There's no two ways about it. They look like they're back in form. Like we said, it took them a single game to get back into that form. But once they returned, oh my word. Max, that was an incredibly impressive play.
It was a fantastic series for the Renegades. Forkidden, though, I do like the consistency in and of itself, as they'll come in hot, I think, in any series. I think this is one of the few teams in Oceania that is always going to look super strong straight out the bat. That said, we've brought back one Hyperia to the fold to kind of help break this game down. Now, I know you were on the sidelines watching, waiting for your chance to get involved. Tell me, Hyperia, what were your takeaways from that opening series?
Honestly, they played great in the first game for Forkidden, but the problem that I have with such kind of teams who are really mechanical is that for it to be working out, you need to have trust in each other at all times. And as soon as Renegades start figuring that out, they'll sit back a little bit more and make you worry, engage in 50s, not allow a way through, and they'll slowly dismantle you. What I did very much like, though, is that Banana Head, the entire time, you only saw, I think, about this part of the head.
Yo, I mean, it's in the name, right? You just get the head of the banana. You get the top.
Yep.
And what I liked as well about the Banana Head, look, the Banana Head Super Lucky combo, I think, is going to be one that we're going to be seeing a lot of in the future. This last goal, case in point from it. But going back to you, Hyperia, as well, though, we know what we want to see a bit more from that Forkidden side. For the Renegades, though, again, I feel like they're still trying to constantly justify that they are a top 2 team, not the #2 team, not the one that people should be focusing on. Did you see enough from them here today that makes you think, you know what, yeah, they are still on par perhaps with the aura that is Ground Zero?
I think the only point that I can really comment upon is, of course, that first game, since that is the game that they dropped. And for you to be a top 2 team, you need to be able to come out of the gate strong against everyone, especially in this quarterfinal. You just want to start off incredibly strong and shut them down from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, they are doing a very good job at that. Quickly, though, back to Bass right now. Your first ever RLCS cast. I'm going to do it to you. I'm going to put the spotlight on you for a little bit. I'm going to ask you the very first interview question today. How was it? How does it feel? Do you now feel like you finally belong? Because I think you do.
I mean, listen, man, I am so grateful to be here. I cannot explain to you how incredibly honored I am to be sitting in the booth with you two casters, some fantastic faces in the scene, and to be able to cast a series like that. I've been grinding for so long. I've put in the work. Hypheria and I literally as a duo had nights where I was up at 3 a.m. on OCE events because I wanted to be here. And now that I'm here, I can tell you this much. Oh my word, does it taste sweet. This is an incredible feeling. I cannot explain to you guys how grateful I am to be here. Max, seriously, thank you for such a phenomenal first cast.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And you know, it's great to be here with you, but there's someone who I want to be with a little bit more than you right now, Baz, and that is, of course, Fever from the Renegades, who is going to be joining us, who is all snug in again right now. Wakey, Fever. It's time to have a little chat right now. Surely that series wasn't that boring for you. I mean, Forkidden, they did take that first game away.
Yeah, that first game was a little bit of an adjustment from us, but I'd say it's a boring series, but, you know, either way, we still got the win, so I'm happy.
I gotta love it, man. Listen, I get into OCE. I was told I was gonna get some banter. We get banter right out the gates, and I gotta say, that's part of my favorite thing of watching you guys, is it really does seem like you guys are having fun when you play. I even saw it. It's hard to get you guys to crack a smile. That shot, I want to say, it was like the second or third game from CJ, where it was just the nicest little redirect, pops that in, and we actually see you guys smile. Are you starting to feel the confidence come back here? You guys actually starting to feel that momentum and really get that hype going into the latter half of this tournament?
I think it's a fresh new season. You know, I was picked up in spring and we already did so well. So a fresh new season, the vibes are there. You know, we're going in confident. Of course, we want to, the end goal is to get to Sweden. So we just got to go in there with the best mindset that we can and play the best we can.
Absolutely. And Forkidden, they came into that series incredibly strong. And is that something you worry about going into the rest of this bracket and the rest of the season, that you might have some startup troubles in game number one?
There could be startup troubles, but you know, I think we're able to get the dub. You know, first in Forkidden, the three of them are just like some of the most mechanical players in the region. So there was a little bit of a thought of, you know, they could absolutely pop off like they did first event in spring last RLCS, but you know, we've got the confidence now. If we've beaten these guys, I'm sure we can beat nearly any team.
I mean, you talk about them having some pop-off mechanics. We all saw that double touch you got at the end to sort of seal the deal for the Renegades. However, looking ahead, you kind of hinted at that day 3 tomorrow. That's the big one. You're either going to be opening against the Dire Wolves or against the Rats. Is there an opponent you'd rather face between the two, or sort of an expectation? Or does it not matter, you're going to win regardless?
Hopefully we win, but I'd like to verse the Rats, because I think Direwolves are a tough opponent, to be honest, against us. So either way, I think either team will be fine. But yeah, I think I would like Rats, because you know, Direwolves, they kind of do have our number at times, so it's a little bit scary.
Yeah. Well, it seems like maybe you'll get your way if things happen as they did yesterday. You definitely will, but that's why we do have to have rematches again. Thank you once more, Fever, so much for joining us. Congratulations on your win, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy.
Thank you. I mean, fantastic stuff. I love it. The series was putting them to sleep. I guess that's why the lights were still out. Just wanted to have that nap, apparently. Fantastic stuff, though, from the Renegades. It's always good that they're able to find their wins, even, I guess, if they themselves find things a little bit boring, though. Back over to you, Hypheria. We can take a quick look at that match ahead. I mean, that's only Series 1 today. Do you think any team is going to match that level, though, that we saw out of the Renegades in games 2, 3, 4, and 5?
That's going to be tough. It's going to be incredibly tough. And especially coming into the interview as well. I really do think we should have sang him a little lullaby before he left so he could go back to sleep easily. And, well, I still hope you have sweet dreams, Fever. But going into the next series rather shortly, Dire Wolves versus Rancid Rats. Dire Wolves are coming in here with favorite. That brings pressure. And I wonder how Rancid Rats are going to try and figure that out.
Yeah, well, fortunately for us, we have time to sort of sit back and try and figure it out ourselves so we can tell it to you and then be proven wrong by the teams themselves. That means, yes, we are going to be going to a quick break, but fret not. We'll be back with more of the quarterfinals here at RLCS Oceania 21/22.